Welcome back for another video. We're heading into the tail end of the international break, so the FPL content's back here. Who are the best players to buy for Gameweek 12 and beyond? Let's break it all down by position, looking at which players are projected to do best. Starting off with the keepers, and we come back from the break with Arsenal home to Forest on Saturday, which puts Raya top this week on 4.3 points. But can they turn around the lack of clean sheets though? It's 7 games on the bounce failing to keep one. They've conceded twice 4 times and conceded once 3 times. Their underlying numbers certainly haven't been bad though this season. Arsenal are third for expected goals conceded with 12.04. Liverpool are top, Forest is second. We're at a point now really where if you held them this long, selling now could be a mistake, with Arsenal's fixtures starting to turn favourably. One question mark is White's absence and that impact on the team. Timber, to be fair, is an amazing alternative in right back, but he hasn't had the chance to build that chemistry with Saka down the right, and perhaps with Saliba in right centre back, and he won't be able to play every single match you'd imagine. Martinez is second on the table this week with 3.9 points, followed by Pope and Leno on 3.8. It is a nice entry point for Villa defence. They've got home games to Palace, Brentford and Southampton in the next 5, away games to Chelsea and Forest in there, which puts Martinez second only to Wright for projected points over the next 5. Another pick that I really like is Sanchez for 4.7. He's probably the best value pick here. Chelsea's long-term fixtures are unbelievable. I actually wonder where they're going to be placed come the end of this year. As far as the fixture difficulty ratings, there's 1 red, 1 grey and 9 green fixtures ahead from here until the end of the year, starting with Leicester away on Saturday. If I was on a wildcard this week, I'd have one of Raya or Sanchez. If your wildcard's active, or maybe just interested to see what might be the strongest team, then check out the wildcard video posted last week. So Kelleher drops off the table this week due to the minutes uncertainty. Obviously it's all dependent on Alisson's return and if he makes Gameweek 12. If you still got him, you play him, unless Alisson's 100% confirmed to be back. On to the defender discussion then. So given Raya top the keepers table, we've got Gabriel, Timber and Saliba as the top 3 defenders this week. What I will say off the bat is I'm not convinced on Timber's reliability of starts long term. It looks much more nailed with White's sidelined for around 8 weeks obviously, and Tommy Ass is still out. But Arteta might use Partey in right back at some point to share the load. So if you're going to buy into the Arsenal defence, it's Raya, Gabriel and Saliba. Gabriel's worth that extra 0.1 mil over Saliba because of his superior goal threat off set pieces. So Trent picked up an injury right before the break, very unfortunate for owners as they went on to keep a clean sheet. He was spotted clutching his hamstring as well, so he's a doubt for Gameweek 12. I hate to say it for owners, but either way, it is an opportunity to give Bradley a start against Southampton, as Liverpool's 2 following fixtures are Real Madrid and Man City. If there was ever a time to use your depth, this has to be it, but let's see what happens. So with that in mind, Bradley makes the table with 4.2 projected points. It's not worth buying him though, given that Trent's injury is not serious, so avoid him. Konate on the other hand has proved to be excellent value, and he doesn't quite make the table here. Since joining Liverpool, his longest run of starts is 8 in a row, so he's always been unreliable in that aspect, but he's now started 10 on the bounce, and he does offer the cheapest route into Liverpool's defence for 5.4 mil. He actually looks the best option really. Van Dijk's almost 1 mil more, Robertson isn't nailed with Tsimikas' threat, and Trent's a doubt for Gameweek 12. I can't bring myself to go back to Dini after the pain he's caused my FPL team over the years, but he's got to be in the conversation making the table here. 4.7 mil and great upcoming fixtures, 3 assists this season, 11 starts on the bounce. Aston Villa have kept just 1 clean sheet though, which is disappointing. Or 2 clean sheets in Dini's case, having gone off early to bank 1. Some other budget defenders that are worth a look in my view. Colwell's 4.5 mil, he's played 90 minutes every game, started every game, amazing fixtures. Hall's only 4.4 mil, he's home to West Ham. And from Gameweek 15 they've got a run of Brentford, Leicester and Ipswich as well. I'm also looking at Lewis Dunk, perhaps not this week away to Bournemouth, but from Gameweek 13 when they're home to Southampton, assuming that he's back by then anyway. Brighton have got an amazing block of fixtures. Bournemouth, Southampton, Fulham, Leicester, Palace, West Ham, Brentford. If you've got Forest defenders in your team, the time to hop off them could be coming, in favour of one of those cheap defenders instead. From Gameweek 14 they've got a run of City, United, Villa, Brentford and Spurs. Their fixtures don't start looking good again until around Gameweek 19 in the final gameweek of the year. On to the midfielders next. It's rare that we've got 2 players projected so high together. If you've got both Salah and Palmer, you're in a strong position this week. Salah's top on 7.6 points against Southampton, Palmer 7 points against Leicester. Further to that, Ramsdale's broken his finger and he's set for a spell on the sidelines, which only adds to Salah's appeal as a captain this week. What if you've got Haaland and not Salah then? Well, if you've got 2 free transfers, there's a very strong case to make for going down to a cheaper forward, which we're spoiled with at the moment, there's so many to choose from, and then go to a midfielder up to Salah. For a -4, it's a bit more of a difficult case to make, as Tottenham home has got potential to be a very good fixture for Haaland and City. We'll talk more about him in the next segment. What we do know is Palmer's got a track record against promoted sides. I mean, last season 12 points against Burnley, and then he got 14 against Sheffield United, and then 18 against Luton, and then 15 against Burnley again, and so on. So, in Gameweek 11, Bruno was the top scorer with a huge 17-pointer. Well played if you had him for that one. And he is third on the midfielder table this week with 5.8 points, away at Ipswich, and then home to Everton. So it's two really nice fixtures before they get a bit tricky again. After that, they've got Arsenal, Forest and Man City to follow. Further to that, he picked up a yellow card suspension over the break, and he subsequently missed Portugal's second match, so he'll get some extra rest and recovery, I suppose. It's not too late to buy Bruno, but you just have to accept his potential will be a bit lower in that block of Arsenal, Forest and City games, before the fixtures start to look better again. It's Amorim's first game in charge, and it will be that Ipswich fixture. Will we see a new manager bounce? What will his new system look like? And what will Bruno's role be? Looking at the next five, Salah and Palmer are dead even really, and then it's Saka and then it's Bruno. Now Saka did withdraw from international duty. In fact, loads of players did, which has affected the projections here. Semenyo and Bumo, Foden are also flagged. Now, it wouldn't come as a surprise if they're all fine by Gameweek 12 to be honest. If Saka's flag is removed, that shoots him up to 5.9 projected points, just ahead of Bruno, just behind Salah and Palmer for Gameweek 12. Looking at the even cheaper mids then, Semenyo and Rodgers will be the two standouts that I'd look at, for 5.7ml, 5.4ml respectively. Both got great fixtures ahead. Now Semenyo is on 4 yellow cards, but don't let that deter you unless your squad depth is running very light. My favourite of the two is Semenyo, just about, but they're honestly both great picks. A stat that I've mentioned a couple of times before in these videos is his shot frequency. Haaland's taken 55 shots this season, which is the most, and then in second place is Semenyo, 47. That's 11 more than Palmer's taken even, 14 more than Salah. Though the premiums of course trump him in terms of expected goal involvement, from shooting at basically better positions, creating more chances and of course penalty duties. So onto the forwards, and captaincy is certainly an interesting one this week. Let us know in the comments who yours are going to be. Haaland tops the table with 7.2 points, which places him just below Salah's 7.6 and just above Palmer's 7.0. 4 goals in 2 games for the Norwegian over the international break as well. A well-timed break in general for Man City given all the injuries that they've suffered. Pep should have a few names coming back, plus a potential start for KDB for the first time since Gameweek 4. Digging into the projections a bit deeper though, Haaland's 30.7 for the next 5 is fewer than Salah and Palmer's, which does support the argument against whether he's worth all that money. Now make no mistake, when he's averaging a brace per game like the opening 5 game weeks, he's comfortably worth it then, but he's not going to have a 76 goal season. It's all about the combinations of players. Isak and Palmer look superior to Haaland and Rodgers, with the latter combination costing you a bit more as well. Make no mistake though, Haaland will hit a crazy patch of form again, where he gets something like a hat-trick and a brace in back-to-back games. And that's going to be what really tests our patience, especially if the alternative combinations underperform. It's easy to sit here and say in hindsight he's nowhere near worth the money after the lack of goals lately. Over the last 4 game weeks, Jimenez, Vardy, Strand Larsen, Delap, Visser, Evan Nilsson, Welbeck, Wood and Cunha have all outscored him among the forwards. So whichever way you go, hold firm. You can't have all the premiums, and there will be weeks where you have the wrong combination in terms of output. On that wildcard video earlier in the break, Isak was one of the first names I had in my team. He's looked fantastic lately, 3 goals, 1 assist in his last 3 games. He's home to West Ham, which is such a great fixture to buy him for as well. I'm considering him this week myself. Only Haaland's got more projected points over the next 5 among the forwards. We're really spoiled for choice though right now with the forwards. I mean, Watkins and Jackson have got superb fixtures, as does Evan Nilsson, who scored 3 games in a row now, and he's only 5.9 mil. In fact, then we've also got Welbeck, João Pedro, Cunha, Strand Larsen, who don't even make the table here, just missing out. I'd avoid Raul and Gakpo, who do make the table. In Raul's case, he's similarly priced to other forwards that have got better fixtures long term. If you've got him, then obviously he's an easy hold for the next few, then look to sell. In Gakpo's case, he's just too unreliable for starts. Huge potential if he does this week, but it could quite easily be Diaz and Darwin starting. So João Pedro marks his return in style before the break with a goal and an assist off the bench for an 11-pointer, as they got a win over Man City as well. Only 5.4 mil on penalties and great fixtures. He's got to be the best budget forward in the game right now. Let us know in the comments what your transfer plans are, and likewise if there's anyone else that you're looking at this week. Hit subscribe for more great FPL content to come this week before the deadline. See you soon for the next one.